Um, Leon, I saw you with Vidal talking about 11.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm telling Vidal, bro, I'm snitching. You said that Rhino and Adam was a good match. He was saying it was a mismatch. I asked your
Yeah.
approval.
Yeah. I don't think it was a mismatch. Well, we didn't know, innit? I don't think it was a mismatch. And when I went to buy muscle works gym during the week, my guys there were saying, "Listen, Leon, Rhino is known for his jab. That wasn't Rhino." That's what they was telling me. They were saying
Really?
to me, they don't know whether it was the weight cut, drainage, or whatnot, or just nerves and etc. But they said that's not the Rhino that we've seen before.
When
Well,
Rhino threw his jab, when Rhino actually threw his jab, it was fucking hurting him for
Yeah, it was
sure.
hurting him. It was hurting
And
him for sure. Yeah,
he dominated the first round, in my opinion. And
yeah.
he did.
So it couldn't have been a mismatch if he dominated the first round. Yeah, definitely not.
I think when he got stunned, that's when it sort of went wonky for him. I don't know if it hurt him a lot or it was concussed or anything. Because I think one of my guys said that even when the bell rang, like he didn't know where his corner was at the first split second. So I need to watch back that fight and see. Yeah.
Well, I've spoken to him. He's very resilient and determined.
Yeah, he wants a rematch. I spoke to him.
He's asked for the rematch 100 times. I just don't. Obviously, I don't. I understand why he wants the rematch, but it just doesn't make any sense, to put a rematch.
The worry with a guy like his age is like he's physically fit as fuck, and he's obviously strong because when he was hitting him, he was hurting him. But it's like, how much punishment can you take at that age? Like, you can give it, but can you take it? Because Adam took it for a while before he got his in. So I don't know if that's maybe like Vidal mentioned about like an over 50s thing. But again, how many over 50s blokes look like that guy? Like what, one? So yeah. Tricky one.
Misfits Granddad division. We'll do a Misfits Granddad division someday.
Yeah, Big John.
But no, respect to him. Like at that age to get in the ring, you got to give it to him, definitely. And Simple Simon's been asking to come back too, but obviously I think
Jesus Christ.
I think we need to listen. You know what though? Like if Simple Simon fought Sherdley's or something, what would happen? Like that. That's almost interesting, no?
Do you know this thing, right?
Not a bad argument.
For me, when I watch Simple Simon flinching, like he'd never had a punch thrown at him in his life. That's not just like a thing about him. It's like the coaching. Like the question for me is, are you getting this guy in here and getting him used to having digs thrown at him? Because it doesn't look like it. So, I think he needs to show some sparring footage of him actually looking like he can take a punch before I would sign off on that. Like, but yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Maybe we need some jobbers like old school WWF before it was WWE style.
The Brooklyn Brawler.
And Brooklyn Brawler and Barry Horowitz. But overall it was a fun event. You know what irked me a bit is on social media people were saying that it wasn't sold out. We actually sold out, but the upstairs isn't meant to be sold out, I think. Or you're not supposed to overcrowd it. We had 1,200 tickets. We sold 1,000. We gave away 200 to fighters, family members, things like that. So it was actually
the upstairs.
Out.
Just now, you just reminded me. Kaysen, I'm pretty sure he had a load of people there upstairs, and when his fight was over, they left to be with him. So there was like, I don't know, 40, 50 people who moved. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. So it was a Whindersson Nunes situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, it's an older building too, though, and people don't realize like older buildings you can't be like packing them out. Like there's fire ratings on those things that make sure that they're not going to be like overblown because for obvious safety reasons. So it was busy. People were there, and the people that were there were like buzzing to be there. So I had a great time. I thought it was a good event.
It was a good atmosphere. Yeah, it was sold out. It sold out. The last 100 and something tickets sold out on the day. So it was perfect. I think it was a good estimation of how it should be. And 3 knockouts in a row is always a fun thing, you know. What was the third knockout? What was the third fight? So we had Moose and we mentioned all of them. Dapper Laughs as well was the third one. Still not sure what level Dapper Laughs is, if because obviously Simple Simon might not be the best test, but him against Adam Brooks was an obvious choice at the beginning, but I'm scared that Adam might be a little too good for him. I don't know. You know, we'd have to test. I think there's some other matches we can make for Dapper. And then the main card started. What results, what fights stuck out? Obviously, B-Dave, let's talk about the main event. He definitely, after the first 10 seconds, we all thought it's over. Yeah, we thought this guy's he's not going to get through round 1. But what a tough kid. Very resilient.
Yeah, that kid's tough, man. Very tough. I think if he dedicates himself a bit more, applies himself more to gym and the boxing lifestyle, he could be good.
Yeah,
he's
Two things he needs to work on.
He's been a company man.
I love that about him. First off, and he's like one of those guys that's like he knows the game and he's been consistent and he's growing with the organization and he can see that part of it, which I think is a lot of value that he's bringing, but also like to himself as much as to the organization, which is kind of the goal, right? Like to be able to be in cohesion with these guys. But I told him after the fights, I was like, dude, you're a better boxer than you give yourself credit for. And he's too much of a dog. Like he just reverts back to just like clanging and banging. And then his coach will remind him, be like, no, dude, you can jab. Like you can do the basics. And then he'll do them for a little bit, get touched, and he'll be like, nah, we in. And then just go back in. And it's just like, if
his job is actually good as well. His job, when he used it, was landing, and it was really establishing a bit of authority in there. And you're like, you may have a better job than Jarvis, actually, if you actually fucking used it. And you could see in between rounds, his corner man, poor guy, he was having a meltdown with him because he was like, why won't you listen? So if the guy learns to like listen, you know, then and actually holds a bit back and plays it a bit smarter, we might have a really decent fighter there.
Yeah, but to a degree, I'm glad no one held back in that main event, because that's probably top 5 favorite fights we've had on Misfits for me, entertainment-wise, you know?
Yeah, it was
it was awesome.
Yeah, and neither of them seem to understand the concept of defense. Am I wrong in saying that?
That's facts.
Jarvis doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Jarvis doesn't need it, apparently. That guy's head is like metal. Like he'd get hit and he would just be like, nah, whatever. I was like, man, all right. Like it's like old school, like Joe Joyce style.
Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna catch up at some point if he doesn't learn to defend a little bit better, I think, you know. But really,
is there
really
any
fun
word
anyway.
on who might fight Jarvis next? I mean, my first, you know, I know he called a few out. There was obviously the tag team partner of B Dave as an option, maybe. But is there anyone who's front row?
There are. I've just finished doing. I'm still going to be adding, but I've almost finished the roster, the entire roster, and done the weight divisions. And then sent all of you guys the rankings as well to see if there's any suggestions or anything you guys would change. But yeah, there's definitely, he's not going to have a shortage. I'll tell you what, the 155 division has the most amount of fighters. A lot of them haven't fought yet, but they're all in the DMs. Please, can I fight? Please, can I fight? But in terms of competition, there's definitely some good names, and there's some international names as well. And there's also Salt Pappy wants to go down to 155, which is apparently, I've spoken to his coach, says that is his optimum weight. That should be his fighting weight. That's the weight he's going to have very little fat on him. But does he continue to lose power like, you know, some of you guys thought he lost power from the weight cut? Or does he
punch
do it
resistance? More? Personally, I think I don't know what the rush is to drop down to 155. I think he should stay at 165 for now. Let his body adjust to it, adjust to that new weight. He hasn't been that weight for a very long time, so he needs to adjust to that
161 in his last fight, though.
Yeah, they came in too light. Exactly. They came in too light.
I don't know. I feel like 155 is. You got to remember too, like if he's fighting 165ers, then he has to deal with the power of 165ers. Where at 155, maybe his punch resistance holds up a little better. I guess it just depends on like we're not in his camp, so we're not seeing where he's at, and it's hard when you look at guys that were like objectively overweight before. Like he wasn't an athlete, so now you're trying to have to figure out his athletic weight after losing like a lot of body fat, which is not like a normal thing that most coaches are dealing with their fighters. Like their fighters are like already in shape, and then they can kind of manipulate it from there. So I don't know. I kind of agree with Leon there. I think that 165, like sit into that weight class a little bit would make more sense to me. But if the opportunities are there at 155 and his team sees something that we don't,
I think I disagree with you guys, but I do admit Leon would definitely be the best person to go to on this. But I'm only saying it because he was so overweight. I think the training is just taking him to a place where the body weight is coming down naturally for the performance that he's doing. I was seeing against AT the other day in the training camp. I think it is just finding its natural place. But having a slim who can bang, putting it on him and knocking him out later in the fight. I don't know if I'd say his punch resistance is gone. I think maybe just Slim maintains that power, and it was a lot for him. And he's a much smaller guy than Slim if we're looking at it. Whereas now when you mention it, like Saul Pappy Jarvis, height, reach, it all does add up. And I mean that's an exciting fight for me. That because the lethal fast hands of Saul Pappy, I haven't seen anyone with the skill of Saul Pappy in the welterweight division. I'm looking at the top guys now: Jarvis, Nick Alameo, Saul Pappy. Saul Pappy's in there now. Ed Matthews. I think Saul Pappy would be my guy to put in there immediately if I could. But he is coming off of 2 losses, so I don't know if he gets a title shot straight away.
Yeah, he'll rule that division easily. But I think he needs to increase his muscle mass a bit. He needs to get some strong legs, some good foundation underneath him.
It's a bit like Tyson Fury when Fury lost all that weight.
Muscle. Yeah.
I think so. I think, look, bear in mind, he was dominating those first 2 rounds against Slim.
He was. Facts.
He just didn't stick to what was working and instead started getting excited and throwing too much. He's not a volume puncher, and he decided to become a volume puncher during round 3 for some reason, throwing way more than usual. And he got caught out, and he played Slim's game, So
yeah, and I also think, as far as like punch resistance goes, I think a lot of that comes down to your boxing, and he gassed out, and he wasn't really boxing anymore. He was standing square in front of him, right? We all saw that. So it doesn't matter who you are. Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. You standing square in front of a guy, hands down, and he's teeing off on you, like you're getting sat down. Like it does not, like, even some of the most durable guys in the world, like really, it's that they know how to roll with punches, right? They're never getting caught clean. They're defensively responsible even when they're tired. Like that has so much to do with what we call, punch resistance or durability.
Yeah.
And it's not like just one thing, right? But I don't know. It's one of those things where I think I'm here for it. I always thought he was fighting way heavier than he should have been. I'm usually the type of guy that is okay with people cutting maybe a bit more than not, right? But it's still down to his team, because I'm not there, right? But for the most part, if I see a guy like Saul Pappy and I look at him and he says I want to fight at 155, like that doesn't psych me out. Like if you see some proper like pro 155ers, like those are big boys. They're big boys.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know. Just it depends how they go about it.
I would never recommend this, but really, if he was a full-time pro boxer, he'd probably be fighting around 145, 147, and cutting and putting weight back on. But at 155, I think that's his natural weight, and I think that's his natural healthy weight. But he's never known that. He loves the fast food. He loves the grub.
I think the main issue is that these guys they're not athletes like pro boxers. They haven't been doing athletics for all their life. So dropping down to 155 could be detrimental. But I would advise at least have one more fight at 165. If he comes in 161, 160 again, it's not that much of a big deal.
Yeah.
And it depends who he fights, then gradually go down. It depends on age. I don't know how old he is.
Yeah, he definitely should not be having a tough fight for his next fight. I've told this team he's not getting an Andy Warski part 2, but somewhere in between where he can. I think it'll be good for him to have the ability to get his confidence back a little bit, and show what he can do, show us his improvements and everything else without the massive pressure. So aside from that, what else? We saw Arms and Minicon. Obviously Arms started out strong. I've spoken to him. He intends to cut a bunch of muscle, and the funny thing is, I've seen him at London Shoot Fighters on those what are they called, the ice climbers or mountain climbers or whatever.
Versa.
Yeah. And that guy goes and goes and goes, and I done like 4 rounds of pads, and he's still going hard. He's fit.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Maybe but look, boxing in the ring.
Yeah.
When you're sparring, it's one thing, but when you're actually in the ring under the lights, it's probably 3 times more strenuous on your body because of the adrenaline, you know. Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, his muscles, just the oxygen wasn't connecting at one point, and his body shut down. But none of us want to see that on a Misfits ring, obviously. So we've got to prevent that, to more for him than anyone else, you know, to make sure he's safe.
I think he should be getting checked out by a doctor thoroughly before he comes back, just to be absolutely sure. Just because I'm going back through the archives of all the fights I've seen, and I've seen some of the biggest dudes, you know, and for a guy to be that knackered, and bearing in mind, we're talking about the end of the 4th round. Let's be real. 2.5 rounds, he was absolutely finished. 3 rounds, he was absolutely done. And in my head, it's like, I'm going through like the biggest, most muscular dudes and how long they've gone in the ring, and I'm thinking, I've never seen a guy multiple times now be carried out on a stretcher without actually being put down by a punch in that way. So I just think he needs a double check, because for me, I think this is a biological issue. It gave me memories. I don't know if I'm pretty sure someone will have seen it. Kimbo Slice versus Dada 5000 or whatever his name is, where they're just dead in there, like on their feet. And you know, is there a heart issue? Is there something going on? I just think you should get absolutely checked out now.
We did. 5000 had a double heart attack. Sorry about that.
There you go. There you go, bro.
Yeah, no, we've obviously, our medicals are very thorough, and he did check. He did do all the checks. He passed everything. There was no issues. And then right after that, he got medical attention, and all his vitals, everything else was back to normal. So I spoke to his coach. I spoke to him after the next day. He was in good spirits. It was like as if nothing happened. So I don't know what it is. If it's just sheer exhaustion beyond belief, like, but either way, safety first for sure. Obviously, he was very upset that the PBA announced it on social media before even mentioning it to him, that they were giving him a medical suspension, which I thought was a little odd, you know, because they didn't tell the promotion or the fighter. They just put it on social media. They like their social media, the PBA.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they love it. Yeah, I don't think
the way they went about
ever
it
again.
What's that?
He shouldn't fight ever again. It's not for him. In my life of watching fighting, I've never seen this in my life. I fought
multiple times.
Multiple times. Yeah, I've never seen it in my life.
Twice. Did it? What happened when he fought? What happened when he fought Bouncer? It wasn't like that at the end, was it?
No, he didn't get stretched out. I think there was a suit. They was laying down on the floor for the whole fight.
Yeah,
they was laying on top of each other for the whole fight. And it was it was the same. It was like that. It was on the ground. He's doing that.
Bouncer's throwing shots at him. He wants him in boxing.
I tell a lie. I tell a lie. I'm not. I think it was pretty. Yeah, he was absolutely exhausted at the end of that one as well. It wasn't as bad, because he did get a lie down during the fight. But yeah, I think the guy's a phenomenal. Like in round 1, when you watch him, the explosive power he has, but he's almost too explosive to where, like, you know how Conor McGregor has that 8-minute mark in a fight and it just all goes downhill. His is like a few minutes, but he looks amazing for that few minutes. He looks like the best heavyweight we've got. So if they can sort out whatever issue that is, decrease the muscle, then maybe we'll see him look great again. But good luck to him.
Master Uguay's got to be punching the ceiling at his house right now, just being like, bro, why did I not just chill for the first round? Like he just got his head taken clean off.
But he played the fight well, didn't he? In that one, he countered him. He let him come to him. Yep. Didn't be trying all of this KSI bouncing up stuff. and saved his energy. So like the strategy was much better in that fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
for me, I've seen guys go down with heat exhaustion. I've seen guys literally just sit down because they were so exhausted, like blackout, just boom, they're on their ass. I've never seen, but they always kind of pop back up. You know, heat exhaustion takes you out for a while, but like I've never seen someone be able to go down that hard for that long and then be fine 5 seconds later. Like you're either like pretty messed up for a day or you're back up within 30 seconds. I've never seen a guy be down for like 5 minutes and then at the 10-minute mark, he's like hanging out with the guys, like just fine. So it's unique. It's interesting. But that being said, like none of us are doctors. So I feel like that's out of our hands in that regard, right? Like just as long as, you know, Misfits is doing more as far as the medical goes than any other small scale organization would be doing, right?
We're
So
doing
it's
more
probably
than
this,
any big. We're doing more than big scale organizations.
yeah,
Because
yeah. I'm just saying
the scrutiny is on us. If something happens, sorry to interrupt you, Ryan.
no worries.
If something happens in a big MMA or a big boxing, a traditional boxing stage, it's going to be a tragic thing. Not downplaying the tragedy, of course, it's a tragedy.
Of course.
But the backlash will be very limited because it's happened so many times, so people are used to it. Whereas because people look at us as under a different light, the scrutiny is far higher. You know, in the first place. You know,
100%.
I thought that was gonna be the moment. I thought that was going to be the moment. When I started seeing undo the ring, take out that, I thought, oh my god,
We were all fucking, yeah, we were really
They're
worried,
gonna
man.
say he's on the us,
Yeah.
this, that.
But you know, Minicon, just on Minicon, because I do think Minicon has a bit of talent there. He should be disappointed himself because you had a sitting duck there and he still couldn't do anything with it. So yeah, he needs to train a lot harder and take it a bit more seriously if he wants to actually do anything with this. And can we move on to the Gabe Silva OJ Rose fight?
yes, please.
Because I thought that was a really good example of Misfits boxing, clash of styles, a lot of good shots in there, battling performance from OJ Rose, and actually looking at OJ Rose now in the welterweight division, potentially. Sorry, the middleweight division. You know, him versus Slim could be a great fight. You know, he's really made a statement with that. I was impressed.
I was impressed as well, but I think there was a lot of backlash on social media for that decision. And Bri, we watched that up front and the right decision was made. Silva got all the clean punches and he rolled a lot of OJs. He didn't get hit clean more than 2 or 3 times. OJ caught a lot of glove. But when you're there we were watching it on the monitors, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. A lot of people initially thought that OJ actually I saw one of the coaches, a high-level coach, saying that it was a massive robbery.
I don't think robbery, but Leon definitely fancied OJ, didn't you, mate?
From my seat at the show at the event, I was sitting next to Salt Pappy and Salt Pappy's coach. So we all thought that OJ won.
Yeah, but Saul watched it again. Saul watched it again and
I haven't watched it again.
Yeah, you got to watch it. Like,
so
and
it's
also
probably vantage point.
There's that, and also, no matter how expert you are, when you're watching it live, and you have a certain, you know, visual obstructions, and the crowd are going mad for every punch, even if it doesn't connect.
Of course,
it almost feels like it does. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
I think part of the issue was that Gabe Silva has these like his old man, these sneaky little short hooks that, and with these like, you know, his long slim arms, they sort of sneak in, and only when you're like really got your eyes peeled, you know, sometimes can you see those shots. Whereas there's a lot of noise and a lot of energy coming from OJ Rose piling the pressure on. But I just thought Silva landed the cleaner shots. And I thought that was quite clear personally, but I still thought both guys were fantastic.
Very much so. And the thing, OJ listened to you, Brian, when you told him the double jab. That was more effective for him.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was shouting out OJ Rose like the whole time leading up to this. I think I've commentated most of his fights, and every time he's brought it, and he's been the same thing, kind of like a B Dave, where he's been this great, you know, member of the Misfits banner and always brings it. So I should have been biased, and I still didn't think that he did enough to win. I thought it was the same thing. Gabe Silva was just a bit sneakier with it. He was landing shots that people weren't seeing, and when he was landing with a lot more accuracy and a lot more potency. And the thing is like the boxing rule set is pretty clear. If you land on the glove, it's 0. There's no point. There's nothing given for pressure. There's nothing given for volume. A blocked punch is not a scoring punch. So yeah, he definitely had the volume and he had the pressure, but was he scoring as many points as Gabe Silva? I think that Gabe Silva edged out the points. And it depends on the judges. Some judges won't look at it like that, and some judges will. But I think he played the exact game plan that he needed to be able to be as effective as he was in that fight. So there was a lot of good work from OJ Rose, and it was close. And he made it super, super close in a fight that really shouldn't have been close. But so I thought it was close, but I still gave it to Gabe Silva for sure.
Gabe was
I think with OJ as well, he needs to understand the pros and cons of the peekaboo style. Because there has to be some type of destruction involved, especially when you're on someone's chest for so long. And you got to make sure the punches you're throwing are clean. You're landing clean shots, so it doesn't look all messy and muffled.
Yeah,
and that's what I think. That's what I think that was detrimental in that fight. Was when I see Silva do a few nice clean shots, and it was clean, effective, and everyone could see it from all angles.
Yeah,
it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder how our champion Anthony Taylor is going to handle Gabe Silva, because that it kind of did. OJ did the blueprint, but Anthony Taylor, I feel like he's a much naturally bigger guy. Will his punches have more of an impact? Or can Gabe outpoint him the way he did? I think that's going to be. I know the way they had that banter afterwards, you could really see it was like building up, and I was like, "This is fantastic! They're really creating a moment here." And my favorite line, I've got to say, AT, when he said, "I'll beat you, and then I'm going to beat your dad," was that was hilarious. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
it was a good moment.
So back to OJ. I think OJ should drop down to 155 as well.
Yeah.
155. Well, I think he was 170 for that fight. And then
he came in 170. No, I think he came in 160 something. 163 or 164. 169.
I'll double check.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole point was the winner fights AT. But OJ's weight range, he's one of those guys that can go up and down quite easily. And that's from, bear in mind, he has been an athlete for most of his life, professional track runner. And listen, he doesn't run away, that's for sure. He runs towards you in the ring. So he's got an aggressive style. He does take a few too many punches on the way in sometimes, but it doesn't seem to bother him. But yeah,
because like OJ versus Jarvis will be a great fight. That's another banger.
That's a banger.
That's 100% banger.
100% banger. You're right. That is a big challenge.
Or OJ, if he does do 165, obviously there's the champ Slim. That would be an exciting fight as well.
Yeah,
easy win for Slim, I believe.
I think Slim's just a little too wily, and he's got his eyes on a certain rapper that's recovered from an injury. So let's see. And he's also, but Leon, let's put you on the spot, man. The fight that everyone wants is Slim versus Gib. How do we make this happen?
I would like that fight. That's the thing. I like to watch great fights or be a part of great fights. That's what I'm about. I love challenges. He's actually got the most renowned best coach in crossover boxing. He's got an actual good coach.
And he's got the best record.
And everyone else, every other coach in the scene is aspiring to be good. He's a legit coach, Andre. So I love challenges. But the kid's retired, isn't it? So I don't know. I do not know what 2024 is going to have in store for us.
Come on,
he's on vacation now.
Is he still on vacation right now?
Yeah.
I refuse to believe it. We got to go get him, Mams.
When people say they're retired in traditional boxing, they don't mean it. So in crossover boxing, it's even it's even less
people can
meaningful.
say they're retired and come back. But as I know now, even when I do train him, it's not like before where we've got a structured plan to go by, because I know what we're leading up to, what we're building up to. Now we're just training like friends in the gym. We're not following a specific tailored program that's going to aid him in fighting.
But he's still staying in shape for a reason.
Oh yeah, he's always going to stay in shape because he was obese before, and everyone's scared of getting back to being obese.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. We'll see.
Nah, we
I
can get him.
Yeah, Riley, I might have
You send me.
to set up a meeting. Yeah,
I just
you
want to
in.
express though.
Send me. I'm gonna go get him.
I just want to express my frustration because for me, Gib is one of my favorite fighters in this game. I think he's like so well rounded and he's grown so much from the guy who, I mean, I remember being with Gib when we first did a Wembley Cup match, a football game, and the guy looked a completely different human. So to see where he's come from, but the thing is with Gib, he's had so many great moments, and he talks about storyline. Well, Gib, I'm here to pitch a storyline to you, bro, because you've never lifted a title. You've never held the gold. You've never been recognized as a champion. You've never had that moment. Well, Slimmy Slim has, and he's holding that gold right now. And if you want your defining moment to have that moment where you can hold the belt and say, I did it, I am the champion, for the first time in your life, you need to come to Misfits, mate. Right? Because there ain't no storyline ending without a belt above your head saying, I'm the champ. You haven't had that moment. So come and take it from Slim. Come on.
That's fact. I've held 2 belts. I've held 2 belts, and there's no better feeling than holding a belt.
There you go, bro.
Yeah,
taking that belt home.
But that monologue is 100% being clipped and going viral. You know that, yeah?
It's better, man.
I love Gib, mate. I've spent plenty of time in the gym with Gib, and there'd be no one happier for him than me. I just think, another thing, as a friend of his, I'm like, you're so fucking good. You're so, fit and strong. You don't want to look back and think, why didn't I just apply everything I had in the moment because I was too busy trying to build storylines or whatever. Like, he has the storyline, become the champion, defend your title, go down as a Misfits legend, because this thing is going to go on long after, in my opinion, Gib can retire. We might end up with a bloody Hall of Fame and also, like, this is an opportunity for him to build a legacy here. And right now, he's been to this organization, that organization, the other. Misfits is actually going to stick around. So he has a chance to really build something long term.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If that doesn't work, then I don't know what will. Then he really is retired. But moving on to the rankings. What do you guys think of the rankings that were sent? Any changes?
Yeah, I had some changes, but I forgot to send it to you. Wait. So the pound for pound one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have AT at number 5.
Where would you have him?
I think but see, the thing is, Gibbs retired. So I don't know if Gibbs should be even in the list. Yeah, I put a star by him. Yeah,
I would have put Gibb higher, but inactivity does bring your points down.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wait. As someone instead of.
I had Dean as number 3, solid. I thought he could have that one for his own.
And you'd have Slim at 4?
Yeah, I think so. I think just because Waleed's so good, like, and Dean just put it on him, and so that to me was for me. I mean, I agree too, though, that Slim could definitely be number 3 as well, and Dean be number 4. So it's not a bad shout to have him side by side, but
yeah,
one for me.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I mean, hey, Slim beat Salt Pappy though. That was something everyone wanted to watch for a long time. That's why. What do you guys think?
No, you're right. I would leave it then. I would leave it. And maybe this is just me, but I put Wasabi at 4 in middleweight. I'd put him at 4 and put Deji and OJ above Wasabi. That's just me.
So for my pound for pound list, I had Wasabi at 10 instead of Raksu.
Wasabi, really?
Yeah, instead of Raksu. He
What's
knocked
your
I
down
don't know
Pineda.
about that. I don't know
He,
about
he
that.
knocked he knocked down Pineda. He knocked down Pineda.
He also got dropped twice in that fight though, Leon.
No, man.
Yeah.
B-Day tripped him up, mate. Wasabi, I'm with you. B-Day tripped
Well,
you up, mate.
I mean,
no, one of them was a trip for sure. One of them was a trip for sure.
Raksu's win against Kenny was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raksu's on a winning streak.
Was good.
He'll fight anyone. Raksu will fight anyone as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. No, so what? Who's Wasabi fought? He fought Deji. He fought so he done a tag team. And then who else did he beat? He had another main event.
I-Dubs. He beat I-Dubs.
So is that two main events? Is that two main events? And then the tag team fight. Definitely has to be in the pound for pound list. Two main events. What other guys in this list have had main events and a pound for pound?
B-Dave has had the most main events, I think, outside of KSI.
Yeah, but is that a lot of losses? Yeah. Is that a lot of losses? So just for being two main events, headline two shows, drop Pineda, has to be in the pound for pound list. No
Man,
other guy.
Leon is a
who
good
else?
salesman, man. You can convince me of anything, bro. You know what? I'm with you.
All right, I'll put that to a vote then. So you're saying Wasabi over Raksu in the pound for pound list?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Okay, that's one vote. Brian, what do you think of that? Wasabi or Raksu? Did we lose Brian?
I think can you hear me, mate? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Wasabi is the more technically gifted guy, but if you ask me who the better fighter is, it's Raksu, in my opinion.
So who are you voting for, Raksu or Wasabi?
Raksu.
All
We're
right.
talking, hey, wait. In the pound for pound list, you guys mentioned star power.
It's a good point.
Star power.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
All right.
What's
Nah,
up?
like I said,
Yeah,
I'll vote for Wasabi just because of you, Leon. It's because you convinced me, man.
He hasn't lost.
Okay. We'll put Wasabi in. We'll put Wasabi. We got to do the women's.
BJ. We'll put that to BJ and let him. He'll be the
AT's got more
deciding.
losses than Wasabi. AT's got more losses than Wasabi.
But AT's the champ.
Jarvis has more losses than Wasabi.
Jarvis is the champ.
It's just so funny
Yeah, but
watching
still.
Leon sitting in bed knowing that he's been ill, just arguing like this. So funny. Jesus. Should we talk about the women as well? We haven't done the ladies fight yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Wait. So surprisingly, I spoke to BJ. I didn't obviously bring up Wasabi or Raksu. I'll speak to him. I'll send him that on the group, and he'll be the deciding factor on that. But obviously, you guys know that the way these are determined is I give a point system. So I give 10 points for star power, 10 points for up to 10 points. You know, and if their record isn't good, that's reflected in these scores.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for sure, I want them challenged. But what I was happy about was I put pound for pound KSI and Jake Paul on a par, and BJ agreed with that. So are we all agreed on that part? Because if we're not, we should do it now before I get too excited.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Okay,
I mean, I
perfect.
thought if BJ was gonna be with anyone, he'd be siding with Jake Paul, and if he's okay with that,
100%.
then that makes
Yeah.
sense. And I thought KSI brought it, like KSI 100% brought it. So
Yeah.
I don't know how you can argue that at that point. Like
Yeah.
no one that I know thought that KSI beat. Sorry, no one that I know thought that Jake Paul beat Tommy Fury. I know a lot of people that thought KSI beat Tommy Fury. So
Most people.
Yeah, I
fair
agree.
enough.
Actually, that's a really good point. You're actually looking at the list. You mentioned retired fighters. Logan Paul retired, so arguably he may be removed.
Retired. I don't know. Listen,
Yo, Mams
there's
knows something.
there's Prime Card 2. That will be an occasion. I don't know. I think he's still. I understand that he's a super gifted athlete. Yeah, we all know that. And I think, tell me I'm wrong, I think he does have potential in boxing. I would change up the style a little bit from what he's doing. I didn't see I think he had a lot of opportunities to display skills against Dylan, right? Dylan
Yes.
wasn't really fighting back.
Yeah.
I think Logan is probably the best, most gifted natural athlete, much more than JJ and Jake Paul. And I think he hasn't applied that athleticism to boxing.
Yeah.
I think
If
he's
that
in a comfort zone when he's had the same coach for far too long, and it's time to. I know he really loves that guy Milton, and he's a nice guy,
Great
definitely
guy.
good coach. But for me, that fight showed it's time to level up now. As Lennox Lewis said, you have your primary school teacher, your high school, your college teacher, and you have to graduate through them. And the lack of improvement from previous performances. I was like, okay, this was your chance, your big moment, and you definitely won the fight and looked good at times. But I think there's a lot more that can be done with him, and I think a fresh face has got to be the answer. If he wants to fight again, that's just my opinion.
I mean, the thing with like Milton, obviously legend of the game, been around for a long time, but he has such a specific and unique style of boxing, and that's how he teaches his fighters to fight. So if you're only learning like one method of such a deep sport, you're just immediately limiting your own self.
But the thing who had the success with,
see.
he had the success with Shannon Briggs, who
and success is a relative term. Shannon was already an established fighter at that point. Like,
but also the style, right? Like the arm punching, that we've seen from Logan. Like Shannon Briggs can arm punch and kill anyone, kill a horse, right? Whereas with Logan, there's adjustments that need to be made, in my opinion, to get the most out of him.
Yeah, and Shannon too, like you said, he's such a unique guy, but he was also a very established fighter already, and went to Milton later in his career to change it up. And the thing is personally for me, I'm a traditional guy when it comes to the sport, and then I like people to work from that. I don't like them to start with a very unique thing and then try to kind of work back towards the traditional style. And so for me, like when I saw that process, I was just kind of like, man, like there's a lot of untapped ability here, because when someone's training a way that's different from almost the entire rest of the sport, usually there's going to be something that's missing there, right? And maybe it works well to be specific with Milton's style. Maybe I'm wrong there, but for me personally, I would love to have a guy like Logan being able to sit down in a guard a little bit, just like have them hands up and rip a left hook, right? Like Triple G style, like bounce it off the guard and rip that left hook or something like that. Just like that old school style, and just watch someone get sat down from a guy like Logan. And I haven't seen that yet. And so I just feel like there's untapped potential. But as far as what you're saying, man, is like Logan's too smart to miss out on an event like a Prime Card 2. Like he's too smart not to be there. He knows like if millions of people, plural, are going to be watching an event, he knows he's got to be in there.
But
like
just on that though, if he doesn't make the adjustments, let's just say Dylan Dennis had have pulled out and it had have been Mike Perry in front of him. Looking back at how confident Logan was about going in there with a Mike Perry, that might have been a mistake. So you've now got time before Prime Card 2 to make changes to improve your game, and I hope he uses it, because if we see the exact same version of Logan now in a year's time and the competition does go up, I don't want him in there when he's not performing as good as he can.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Mike Perry would have been a long day. He's a long day for anyone, Mike Perry.
Should we talk about the ladies? Because we do love them.
Yeah,
they were great.
Yeah, pound for pound list I've got in front of me. Tell me what you guys think. We have number 10 Michelle Khare. Number 9 is Nikki Hiru. Number 8 is Tennessee Thresh. 7 Paige Keiki. Elena Vampira has gone down to number 6. Elle Brooke with a 3-1 record is at number 5. Barbie at number 4 with a 2-0 record. AJ Bunker, who is a champion in her division, at number 3. Astrid at number 2. And Julie Podka has to be number 1 in my view.
Yeah.
100% Julie's number 1.
Yeah, I got Julie Hulk Smash Podka. So yeah, she's number 1. Astrid, I'll give her number 2. Personally, I'll put Elle Brooke 3. Then, Barbie 3, Elle Brooke 4. And then AJ Bunker.
This is the part where it gets complicated, right? So AJ does have the title. Elle Brooke wants to challenge her for the title. So we can't really put the challenger above the champion. Otherwise, it devalues the belt. Don't you
Doesn't
think?
devalue the belt. It's just the opposite because the division's so new.
It is really new, but I think the reason I've done that is to make sure that to have the title brings you up, whether
Yeah.
your record isn't as good or not, but you're the champ, and then it
Okay.
shows that the
You're trying to
championship has meaning.
you're trying to
Yeah,
put the
I
system
understand. Yeah,
the
I
system
understand.
in
Yeah.
place so that in the future it all makes sense. Otherwise, yeah. But like right now, as Leon's rightly said, it is such a new division. Like I'm looking at Astrid's last performance, and it wasn't convincing. You know, she really she fought a brand new fighter. For me, it was a draw, but yeah, she is the champ and star power. She's got that. She's a fantastic talker, and she knows how to sell a fight. So yeah, I've got to give a second spot, even though I didn't think her last performance was great.
Well, Astrid has a very tough fight ahead of her if she wants to continue. Astrid and I have spoken, and she's not sure she wants to continue, but
Really?
if she, yeah, I don't,
What was
and
the
I think
reason?
that's it. Well, she wasn't very happy with the way she was treated at the Prime card for a certain few reasons.
Right.
And it wasn't anything intentional. It was like, I think, a series of misunderstandings. But she's never been disrespectful and put the business out there, but I'm not saying anything bad against her either. I think there was a confusion with her and DAZN and what part she had to play in the press conference before. She always comes up with some really creative plans, and that's what I like. She gets this space, and I think there was some miscommunication and she wasn't happy. But look, I'd like to see her back, because even though she didn't show too much improvement in that fight, that's a credit to her opponent as well. You know, she didn't make it easy for Astrid.
Yeah.
I think Astrid should definitely think long and hard about it, because when you look at her career and what she's building, you know, everyone knows who she is now online. Like the football space know her, now the boxing guys know her. She's played an absolute blinder. And staying in Misfits is a good way of staying relevant. So I don't know. Whatever issues there are, it's important to something. And I know what it feels like to have an ego, right? I've definitely been in that moment of being a bit like, why am I not being treated this way? And da 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 da. But long term, don't fuck yourself over, in my opinion, over little things that have gone wrong that you can, you know, don't let them affect the long-term journey for her. That's what I would say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd like to see her take on her mandatory. It's not going to be an easy fight, and let's see, you know. What do you guys think of Vampira? I mean, she has tons of potential, you know. Where does she go from here?
Just wait for the next opportunity.
She's a dog.
She's very good.
I'd like to see her versus Elle Brook. I don't know if what weight Elle Brook's going to be fighting at.
Elle's dropped down.
Okay. Well, for me, I looked at Vampira in that fight and I thought, if you train hard, because remember, our last fight before that was like a non-event, right? She walked through the girl. Now the level has gone up massively. And it would have been a bit of a shock for her, and it clearly was at times. She was a bit like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I'm getting rattled here. But she actually coped so well with it. And you can't teach that. Like, everyone in this group chat knows. Like, some people either have that, even look at Simple Simon, or you don't have it. No disrespect. Like, this girl kept getting hit and kept coming back for more and more and more. So she's got that in her. And actually, technically, as I think Vidal and Leon said on their podcast, she's actually got the fundamentals and she's got something there. So I think she's got the ability to come back and beat Julie in the future if she just knuckles down.
Yeah,
I agree.
Technically, she's one of the best female boxers there in the space. Technically, she's good. She throws a lot of variety of punches. She just didn't understand the strategy of don't stand in the pocket with Julie. You cannot. You can't do this mano bravado thing and try and take her bang. It's not going to work.
Well, Julie
cut her
has
own
that
self off, right?
Yeah, Julie has that thing of like, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to wait for you to come in, and then I'm going to unleash hell. And she now she needs to plan for that in future, and everyone does, because that's all Julie does over and over and over again. So they need to think about, right, how do we get her to commit and then counter her? because
Yeah.
it's all she's having it all her own way, Julie, and she hits hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. She does. She's definitely. They're both superstars. Anyway, it'll be nice. It'll be good. It's good for Julie. She won because Brazil's around the corner, and the next challenge for her. And then Alina's just determined. Spoken to her as well. She's a superstar in the making. Dean the Great making waves everywhere, as you guys see, challenging Ryan Garcia, Shakur, everyone else.
Mate, he's got them on strings, hasn't he? Like, this is the maddest thing about it is like the fact that they're all mentioning him in interviews. I'm like, you idiots! Like, you're literally giving him everything he wants. Like, and you can see that, like, this guy, he really thinks he can beat me, and it's so weird how like. And I mean, I've had it before with pro boxers and fighters, like, but it's surprising how easy it is for these guys to be rattled. And he's living in their head rent free. So fair play to him.
Because they think, maybe he is a bit of a threat that's emerging. Maybe it's going to take some time. He'll get there. He's a naturally gifted young man. One of the best, most talented we've got, I'd say.
He's 22. He's just started.
Yeah,
like
he's a baby.
he can like him even a year ago to now. He's a much better fighter. So you give him a couple more years, like he is genuinely a skilled boxer. Like there's no two ways about it. He can absolutely fight. Now, can he fight Ryan Garcia? I don't know. But like definitely like I feel like that must be part of it because they can see that he's skilled, but they're like, how dare you think that you're like me skilled or something like that, right? But it's like, hey, like Jordy said, he's living in their head rent free. So
mate, that Ryan Garcia
all
clip,
around.
you can see the look on his face of like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't believe this. Yeah. Like, and you're like, bro. But here's the problem for Ryan Garcia is I think Ryan Garcia is genuinely doubting himself right now. Like he's literally he's just lost a massive fight that he thought, and he's taken all this time off, and he is having doubts. And now this Dean character is just poking him, and he picked the right guy because there's clearly doubts there. And I mean, maybe Ryan will call him out after his next fight.
Come on, Dean, 22, 2 cars, 2 belts.
Love it. And speaking of people being rattled, I don't know if you guys saw there was a video circulating of me listening to House of Pain jump around. I was jumping around, having some fun, getting punched in the stomach by my coach. And funny enough, my coach put this video on his Instagram and some Jake Paul fan found it and it got into Jake Paul's hands. And he's been very rattled by me this week with a couple of tweets he's now deleted.
Was this the one about the lack of ticket sales? Yeah.
It was a video of his manager dancing and doing a weird dance, right? A creepy dance, and the arena that Jake's fighting at is like still 95% unsold. So. I just put that up and did a Dylan Dennis and said good morning and left it at that. And next thing I know, there's a video of me dancing around and Jake saying, KSI, what the fuck is this? So
I'm interested to see what happens there because, like, let's be honest here. With KSI, when KSI would fight these other guys who no one had heard of before, the loyal fan base of KSI would still buy the pay-per-views, would still buy the tickets, would still turn up. And that was a real show of like, I could fight a fucking broomstick and people will turn up. But Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can do the same thing because, one of the great things that KSI did with Mams was setting up Misfits so that there was other fights as well and there was a genuine interest in some of the other guys. Jake Paul and his team have not done that aside from Serrano, who was already, in our prime, and if not coming out of our prime now. So, what is this event going to look like? I'm interested to see because, for the ego of everyone, you don't want to have a small, you book this small place out and then still don't sell tickets. That would be a real bad thing.
100%. I mean, it's already non-pay-per-view. Even KSI when he fought. Whether it was Temper, Pineda, it was always pay-per-view with KSI. Not that, honestly, KSI would give everything away for free if he could, but the point is he can do a pay-per-view and still do numbers, whether he's fighting a perceived challenge or not. But I think with Jake, I don't know. It's always a double standard on that side. I still want personally, like you guys, I really want that fight to happen, but at this point it seems like I don't know if it will. I don't even know what's stopping it from happening.
Mams. If they have a shit show in their next event, you'll be getting a phone call the next day, in my opinion, because what is there left to do? Like, you know,
if Jake fights Tommy again, he loses to Tommy unless there's real significant changes. I think Tommy's actually improving. I think the Tommy that showed up, for KSI, although KSI dismantled the style, took the jab out and all that stuff, that Tommy was coming in a lot more confident and a lot more aggressive. That first occasion definitely looked like it got to him in the earlier part of the fight, you know?
I don't know if I
nervous.
agree. Personally, I think there's just no evidence to say Tommy's improving. Like I can't say yes or no because KSI did do well, right? So like, and even the rounds that Tommy won weren't good. I wasn't looking at him going, you know, and now he's being lined up to fight Roy Jones Jr. in an exhibition, which
good.
is pathetic. Yeah, it's a bad look.
What?
Yeah, that's the rumor. It's fucking horrendous. Remember how they shook hands at the at an event a while ago? They're now lining that
Saudi.
up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That sucks.
I mean, Big John will be hyping that up, won't he, with his top off? I mean, no one will give a shit.
No one's watching. I'm sorry, but no one's watching that. No one's watching
But on
that.
the Jake Paul thing, I think Jake Paul can beat Tommy Fury personally. I don't know if he will, but I think he could have, because the difference is with Tommy is 10 years of staying at a similar level. Jake Paul can grow quicker because he's still earlier on, but it's just like, will people care again? Like the way they did the first time, now that so much has happened, like it's the KSI fight. And even Nate Diaz is saying, I don't want to fight you in MMA. So I don't know where there's left to go other than KSI.
I think that's the fight to make. If JJ says I want to fight again, I think that's the fight to make. Obviously, there is another big fight for JJ we've spoken about. That's it's not as complicated as it seems to make that fight as well. So we'll see. But there's options. We'll see. It's definitely a wide open landscape for the next star, and I think that a couple of them are brewing, you know?
Yes, for sure, mate.
Yeah. All right, guys. On that note, anything else?
No, that's it from me.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, Leon, what's the next 3 fights to make that you're excited about?
Next 3 fights. Let me see. I want to see El Brook back in the space. Maybe El Brook versus AJ Bunker. I want to see Levon Bell back in there.
Who would you put him against?
I don't know if Josh Bruckner will take that fight. What about Temper? Because Temper's at that weight now.
That's a good fight for Temper as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good fight for Temper. Who else is there?
JMX.
They fought already, didn't they?
Oh no, they fought. I mean,
yeah.
JMX should fight Bruckner, and Temper should fight Le'Veon Bell.
Well, but also there's BJ's training someone. I'm forgetting his name right now, but BJ's training someone who's that weight. So
yes,
if you
throw
him right in the deep end, you can put him in with him.
It's a little early for him, no? Like they've got way too many fights. He's 0-0, but he's a natural athlete. Very, very tough kid.
He looks really good. He looks proper. And he's got BJ.
Mams. Yeah. Who's Luke? Who's Luke?
He's another influencer that he's an athlete influencer, and he's got like a 3-1 record or something, I think.
Okay.
I'll send you some clips on him.
Yeah. What about Kenny? Is he looking to get back in there? Have you spoke to his team or anything?
Yeah, Kenny will be looking to fight in March, and I've sent over about 5 or 6 names for him.
Yeah.
that were all good names, but
Yeah.
you know, I've got to find someone. I've got to find someone to fight Anderson as well. So maybe do you
Yeah.
think Le'Veon Anderson would be good?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That was good.
Anderson, who?
Anderson Silva.
Come
Are you
on, man. There's
serious?
only one. There's only one. There's
Are you
only
serious?
one. Oh, Level Bell
Anderson
might knock him
who?
out nowhere. I don't know. I
No,
don't
but
want to see
like,
my guy get.
I'm like, is the Anderson? Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited at the idea of being within touching distance of the GOAT.
Level is Joe Fournier still in the scene? Is he still about or what?
He's still about. He calls me, wants to fight. This is how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's have a fight. He's like, can I be the main event? I'm like, not yet. No, you know, we did that. We got to get you
Yeah.
back. He's like, I'll stick with the clubs for now.
Bro,
And
I weirdly love Joe Fournier though, because his banter
Same.
on his banter on the run up was fucking
It's
great.
good.
And like,
Very good. A1.
yeah, if he was willing to get in there more often, I think he'd actually be good value and be good fun, you know. But like, he just needs to like lower the ego and realize like you want what you think you are, mate. Like, you know. So
But
build it up.
that applies. To be fair, that does apply to almost everyone on the scene, right? All the boxers on the scene. But I will say that Joe is highly entertaining, and his thing is he makes a lot of money doing the things he does. So if he's going to take away the time and not make the same money, it's got to make sense to him, I think. And that applies to a lot of people as well. So in the defense of people who are like, hey, I'm not getting paid enough, because they're not going to make us misfits enough. So it just, the formula doesn't work. They have to be like, I really want to do this. I'll make some money from it. And it's something I'm passionate and it'll be fun. And if they have the long-term vision of, if I do this, it will improve the businesses I have going on, you know, like it will improve the social status and everything else, like it has for so many of the fighters. Look, KSI wouldn't be where KSI is if it wasn't for boxing. You know,
Yes,
KSI
facts.
wouldn't be where KSI is if it wasn't for music. It's not just YouTube. It's not just whatever it is. So every little everything you do is either a little or big building block, essentially.
Yeah. I want to see Austin McBroom get back into space, Taylor Holders. So these guys, I would like to see them 2024.
What about Taylor Holder versus Bryce Hall? Because they used to be bros, right? And now they stopped speaking. That's a little bit of a old friendship turned rivalry, maybe. I like the storylines.
I think that could build up to be great.
Yeah.
I really like that. I think it'd be a great fight.
Yeah.
And by the way, the bad blood for that one would be horrendous. Like, because they were like that, like doing videos together and then nothing. So, you know, when you finally square them up, it's all boiling over for sure.
Yeah, give Bryce a microphone essentially, and honestly, he does the part. If he can, he backed it up in BKFC with a bit of luck as well. If he trains hard and he's training with BJ, the great thing about BJ is he won't let Bryce have his 5 minutes to go party and hang out. He'll be like, no, you're here on time or we're done. Like, he's very intense. And
Bryce has massive star power as well, right? Like his last fight at BKFC, the numbers he pulled were fucking fantastic.
Bryce has huge star power and potential to have a lot more star power by having consistency and being around in the scene, you know? Yeah, that's a good pick. But, you know, you want to make sure he gets in there and performs, and he did at BKFC. So hopefully he will on Misfits Boxing as well. So let's see what happens. All right, guys, we've gone longer than usual, but good talk today.
Yeah,
Good
great
chat,
stuff,
good chat.
lads.
All right,
Was
thank
awesome.
you very much.